Hello, my friends and followers. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas celebration, and I hope you are having a happy new year. This year, I'm sure it's not going to instantly get better, but it can only get better, right? We're praying for it. Let's pray for a better year of 2021 because most of us have not done that great in 2020. It was a challenging year, but let's take what we learned and apply it to the new life, to the new year. And I hope that, you have grown in the virtues, maybe in patience, maybe you had to wait a lot. Patience, waiting, kindness, loving each other more and accepting each other more. So let's start this year really well, taking good care of ourselves and of our loved ones. Today I have a reading again from Sister Faustina about the new year, which I hope you're really going to enjoy, and it might be inspiring for you for the new year. So this is from Sister Faustina's diary, Sister Kowalska, and it's from the passage 1449 if you ever have that book and want to look it up. The year 1938, the 1st of January. Welcome to you, New Year, on the course of which my perfection will be accomplished. Thank you in advance, O Lord, for everything and your goodness will send me. Thank you for the cup of suffering from which I shall daily drink. Do not diminish its bitterness, O Lord, but strengthen my lips, that while drinking of this bitterness, they may know how to smile for love for you, my Master. I thank you for your countless comforts and graces that flow down upon each day, like the morning dew, silently, imperceptibly, which no curious eye may notice, and which are known only to you and me, O Lord. For all this I thank you as of today, because at the moment when you hand me the cup, my heart may not be capable of giving thanks. So today I submit myself completely and with loving consent to you, to your holy will, O Lord, and to your most wise decrees, which are always full of clemency and mercy for me, though at times I can neither understand nor fathom them. O my Master, I surrender myself completely to you, who are the rudder of my soul. Steer yourself according to your divine wishes. I enclose myself in your most compassionate heart, which is the sea of unfathomable mercy. I'm ending the old year with suffering and beginning the new one with suffering as well. 2 days before the new year, I had to go to bed. I was feeling very bad, and a violent cough was weakening me. And together with this, a constant pain in my intestines and nausea had brought me to the point of exhaustion. Although I could not join in community prayer, I myself, spiritually, with the whole community, united myself with them. When the sisters got up at 11 o'clock at night to keep vigil and welcome the new year, I had been writing in agony since nightfall, and this lasted until midnight. I was uniting my suffering to the prayers of the sisters who were keeping vigil in the chapel and atoning to God for the offenses of sinners. When the clock struck 12, my soul immersed itself more deeply in recollection, and I heard a voice in my soul. Do not fear, my little child. You are not alone. Fight bravely because my arm is supporting you. Fight for the salvation of souls, exhorting them to trust in my mercy, as that is your task in this life and the life to come. After these words, I received a deeper understanding of divine mercy. Only that souls who want it will be damned, for God condemns no one. After breakfast, the sister infirmarian, Sister Chrysostom, came along and asked, Sister, why didn't you go to Mass? I answered that I couldn't. She shook her head disdainfully and said, Such a great feast day, sister, and you don't even go to Mass? And she left my cell. I had been in bed for 2 days and writing in pain, and she hadn't visited me. And when she did come on the 3rd day, she did not even ask if I were able to get up, but asked irritably why I hadn't gone to Mass. When I was alone, I tried to get up, but I was seized again with sickness, and so stayed in bed with a calm conscience. Yet my heart had plenty to offer the Lord, joining itself spiritually to Him during the 2nd Mass. After the 2nd Mass, Sister Infirmarian returned to me, but this time in her capacity as infirmarian and with a thermometer. But I had no fever, although I was seriously ill and unable to rise. So there was another sermon to tell me that I should not capitulate to illness. I answered her and knew that hereon was regarded as seriously ill only when one is in one's last agony. However, knowing that she was about to give me a lecture, I replied that at the present time I was in no need of being incited to greater zeal, and once again I remained alone in my cell. My heart was crushed with sorrow, and bitterness flooded my soul, and I repeated these words: "Welcome, New Year, welcome, cup of bitterness. My Jesus, my heart is eager for you, and that the gravity of my illness prevents me from participating physically in the community prayers, and I'm suspected of being lazy. My sufferings are becoming greater." After dinner, Mother Superior Irene looked in for a moment, but she left very soon. I intended to ask to have Father Andres come to my cell to hear my confession, but I restrained myself from making the request for 2 reasons. First, not to give occasion for murmuring, as had happened above in the respect of the Holy Mass, and secondly, because I could not even be able to make a confession, since I felt I would burst into tears like a little child. A while later, one of the sisters came along and again reproved me. "There's some milk with butter in the oven. Sister, why don't you drink it?" I answered that there was no one to bring it to me. When night fell, the physical sufferings increased and were joined by moral sufferings. Night and suffering. The solemn silence of the night made it possible for me to suffer freely. My body was stretched on the wood of the cross. I writhed in terrible pain, and until 11 o'clock. I went in spirit to the tabernacle and uncovered the ciborium, leaning my head on the rim of the cup, and all my tears flowed silently towards the heart of Him who is alone understands that pain and suffering. And I experienced the sweetness of the suffering, and my soul came to desire sweet agony, which I would not even exchange for all the world's treasure. The Lord gave me strength of spirit and love towards those through whom these sufferings came. This then was the first day of the year. Also on this day, I felt the prayer of a beautiful soul, probably Father Subko or Father Andres, who was praying for me and giving me in spirit his priestly blessing. I answered in return with my own ardent prayer. O most gracious Lord, how merciful it is your part to judge each one according to his conscience and his discernment, and not according to people's talk. My spirit delights and feeds more and more in your wisdom, which I'm getting to know more and more deeply. And in this, the vastness of the mercy becomes more and more manifest in me. O my Jesus, the effect of all this knowledge on my soul is what I'm transformed into, a flame of love towards you, my God. So I think this is really, really interesting. So in her community, she didn't have people understanding her. But, she didn't get upset. She did suffer because, of course, it is painful when people are thinking badly of you or they don't understand your heart or, anything. I mean, this one sister was asking why she didn't get some hot milk. And then Sister Faustina answered, well, because nobody's bringing it to me. And it doesn't seem like that sister went and brought it to her either. So they were all thinking that she was lazy, see? And she suffered through that. She was all alone. And we feel often, or nowadays, so alone. And see, it's great courage that you can take so much comfort in God through that, and that our suffering is not just in vain. See, you can have vain suffering, but if you offer it up and combine it with the sufferings of Jesus Christ who died for us on the cross, then it's not vainless pain, but it's actually being used for the salvation of yourself, your own soul, and also for others. And so she gives us a good example how to suffer and maybe go through things that, we don't have control of, but still embrace it. She was still thankful for all things that came to her. She was embracing whatever came, even though she was bad struck and, bedridden. She still embraced that. Whatever shall be, be. So she truly surrendered to the will of God in everything. And I think we can truly learn from that and have some inspiration on that. And I want to read just a little bit further before we close this video. On January 2nd, 1938, I was preparing for Holy Communion today. Jesus demanded that I should write more, not only about the graces which he grants me, but also about external matters, and this for the consolation of many souls. After that night of suffering, when the priest, Father Matzinga, entered my cell with the Lord Jesus, such fervor filled my whole being that I felt that if the priest had tarried a little longer, Jesus himself would have leaped out of his hand and come to me. After Holy Communion, the Lord said to me, "If the priest had not brought me to you, I would have come myself under the same species. My daughter, your suffering of this night obtained the grace of mercy for an immense number of souls. My daughter, I have something to tell you." I replied, "Speak, Jesus, for I thirst for your words." "It displeases me that because the sisters were murmuring, you did not ask to the Father Andres hear your confession in the cell. Know that because of this, you gave them even greater cause for murmuring. Very humbly I beg the Lord forgiveness. O my Master, rebuke me. Do not overlook my faults, and do not let me err. O my Jesus, when I'm misunderstood and my soul is in anguish, I want to stay a while alone with you. The word of mortals give me no comfort. Do not send me, O Lord, such messengers as to speak only for themselves and say that their own nature dictates to them. Such consoles make me very tired." Wow. Such an inspiration, and also a confirmation that, suffering that you might have, you might experience this new year, or you had this Christmas, that it's not in vain if you offer it up to the Lord. Even looking back, you can still offer it up. And you can have, God is no different. It's not that he only chooses certain souls to have such a relationship with, like with Sister Faustina, and with others, he wouldn't do that. That is a lie, and that's not true. He has with each saint, if you go through the saints or read about the life of the saints, Jesus and God have a very personal relationship with each one of them. And the relationship looks a little bit different with each one of us. So it's not always the same, but he loves us the same and wants to have a relationship. And it's beautiful because it's a very individual relationship. It's something that we need. It's not that he needs that to have that with us, but he wants to give us that personal relationship that we're in most need of. So like the little Therese, Saint Therese was the little child. And then there are saints that are like lovers. And a lot of nuns experience this because they're bride of Christ. Some nuns even wear a wedding ring, so as to show that they're married to Jesus, actually. So And some of them had more of a position of a servant. So the relationship is, or a friend, it's very individual. So you can trust that, when you open yourself up for a relationship with God and Jesus, that He will come as is most needed by your heart. So that's a beautiful thought. And I hope through any kind of suffering, you're thinking of Faustina, how she took suffering. Because she was misunderstood and not everybody understood her. They didn't see her as a saint back then, It's not like they all recognized that she had these inspirations from God. She was in conversation with God and with Jesus, and that her diary would be so powerful later on. No, they didn't. They didn't. And she didn't have an important place in the monastery where she was either. She was the gatekeeper. And she was working in the laundry room. So it's not that she had a really high position. And so I think that really taught her humility as well. She was a very simple woman. So it's encouraging to us how many different saints we have as an example, And if you want to feel inspired, look up the life of the saints and find a saint that you feel inspired by. You can ask them for intercession because they are already in heaven. So you can ask them for their intercession for the next year maybe, and to come along with you through the year. So God bless you. I wish you a wonderful, happy new year. I hope your year is going to be blessed with abundance in spiritual matters as well as materially. God knows we all need, to be fed, to have homes, to have heaters. I hope that you're being provided and that your faith is going to grow and you're going to trust in God even more, even if you face difficulties. God bless you. I wish you a blessed year. I wish you all the blessings.